Hey there, everybody. This is level 5, and this is our lesson on expanded form. This is lesson 5 from our math, and I'm going to do the problem set. I'm going to talk about this with you, and then you can hopefully use a lot of the strategies that you're using on this here to use on your homework tonight, because they're pretty identical, with just different numbers put in there. So today we're talking, a lot about place value, and so if you don't, make sure you have yourself a place value chart. Okay, if you don't have one, you can always draw one, right? I mean, it's fairly simple. Just draw it. Make sure you're leaving room for your decimals over here. Make a decimal point. At some point, you have your ones, you have your tens and hundreds, and going up, and that's usually pretty easy for us. And then going down, this is where you're splitting something up, and I use the analogy today of an apple, and if you cut an apple into, use one of those pressers and cut it into 10 pieces, you have now tenths, right? So you can do this, and then this would be hundredth, and then we have our thousandth. So you can go ahead and you can make one of these on your own to help you out with this. What we're doing here now is really talking about three different things. We're talking about standard form, we're talking about expanded form, and we're talking about unit form. We've gone over the differences between all three, but this homework also does it, or this problem set and your homework also does that too. So beginning with problem number 1, always read the directions. Express as decimal numerals. The first one is done for you. Decimal numerals. We're talking about standard form, okay? Please mind my handwriting, thank you. That is an A. It looks like an E, but it's an A. I know how to spell. Come on, I'm a teacher. And the first one's done for you. It says 4 thousandths, right? And we notice that that's the THS. And so if it's a 4 in the thousandths place, this is the tenth, and this is the hundredth, and then this would be my thousandth. And so 4 in the thousandths place, I can write that using my place value chart, and then I can fill this in. These are zeros, and I see my number here, and that's correct. That matches up with here, right? How many do I have in my tenths? 0. Hundredths, 0. Thousandths, I have 4. Cool. I have 24 thousandths. Okay. Here I had 4. Now I have 24 of them, right? Because that bumps this up into this. If I had 4, and then I have 5, and then I have 6, and then I have 7, and then I have 8, and then I have 9, and I have 10, right? And that changes things, and now I'm using this next column up. So I can do the same thing here. I can put my zeros in. So now I would have 0 and 24 hundredths, okay? Now I have 1 and. Anytime you see that and, you should make sure that that and is your decimal, okay? When you see and, that's going to be your decimal. So I have 1 and 324 thousandths. So here I have 24 thousandths. Now if I had 324 thousandths, I have this number here. 1 and 324 thousandths, okay? Cool. 608 thousandths. If this is 324 thousandths, 608 thousandths. I have 608 of them. And if you think about this, if you want to think about your apple, let's just say a block. If you're probably all familiar with those unit cubes, as the big yellow cubes, right? Or unit blocks, base 10 blocks, those little blocks. And the thousands is that big block where there's 1,000 of them all in there. Okay, think about that as just being one thing. And this has been cut into those pieces. If you had 608 of those little one things, that would be this place value. That would be 608 thousandths. That's what this would be. Okay, so you have, it's definitely less than 1, and you have 608 thousandths of them. So 608. Anyways, 608,000. 608 thousandths. 608 thousandths. See how this is different? That and, remember, is trying to trick you here, and this is my decimal place, right? So I have 600 and I have 8 thousandths, right? You see how there's a difference there? This is 608 thousandths. 600 of those little tiny pieces. I have 600 and I have 8 thousandths, and that's definitely something that you need to realize is different. That and is putting it smack dab right there, okay? Now I have 46 thousandths. 46 thousandths. Up here I had 24 thousandths, and it looked like that. So if I have 46 thousandths, it's going to look like that too. It's going to be 46 of those thousandths. Here I had 608 of them. Now I have 46 of them. 46 of those tiny little pieces. Now I have 3 and, so I can put my 3 and my 1s. 3 and 946 thousandths. 3 and 946 thousandths. 946. Because this was 608 thousandths, right? 946 thousandths. 3 and 946 thousandths. And if you're thinking about those base 10 blocks and that huge thing, that's almost 1,000. This right here, that 946 thousandths, that's almost one whole block of those base 10 blocks. This one here, 200 and, so I have 200 solid ones. 200 for 200 and 904 thousandths. 904 thousandths. Cool. Just really, really super important that you're realizing where that decimal place is all the time. And then you're realizing, you know, how many thousandths that there are. These are all done in thousands. Okay. Cool. Well, let's move this down now. Actually, we can keep going. Express each of the following values in words. I don't need to move and erase yet. Well, words. I have 5. And what place value would this be? How do I have any in the ones? No. Any in the tens? No. Hundredths? No. I said tens. I meant tenths. Hundredths? No. How many in the thousandths? I have 5. 5 in the thousandths. So I have 5 thousandths. Cool. Do the same thing here. 11 and 37 thousandths. It's going to be just looking like this up here. 11 and 37 thousandths. Okay. Easy way to do this would be to take this number and put it up in your place value chart. 11 and 037, and just know what it is. 11. This is in my thousandths, so I have 37 thousandths, and I can write that out. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now we're gonna lose it. Come on, buddy. Okay. Now's where we're gonna do that expanded form. Okay, and it has a little place value chart for you right here, and you should be using the one that you have at home or the one that you made on your own. But write this number, and you got to write it in expanded form using fractions or decimals. And the first one has been done for you. And you have the fraction form up here, and you have the decimal form down here, and you can pick either one. Kudos to you if you're going to do both. So first one's been done for us, and we need to put this out in expanded form. Okay, I understand the directions. Cool. I'm going to move it down so that I have the whole paper. Dang it. Come on, buddy. Made it a little bit too big there. Sorry about that. Okay. So the first thing to do would be, I'm just going to make sure I have that same chart up here again. Okay, guys, to help. You should have it there. This is my ones and my tens. This is my tenth. This is my hundredth. And this is my thousandth. My number here, here's my decimal place, is 0, 2, 4, 9. So I'm just gonna go place value. I'm gonna go place by place. I'm gonna start on the left. I'm gonna start with my largest place value. I have nothing in the ones. So I have 2 in the tenths, right? So I have 2 groups of tenths, which I can either express this way as a fraction. I have to put the parentheses there, order of operations. Or I can express it like that as a decimal. Either way, I have 2 groups of tenths. I'm going to add that to my next column, which is my hundredths. I have 4 hundredths. So I have 4 groups of 1 hundredth. Okay? I have 4 groups of 1 hundredth. I did that totally backwards. And then I have this last one, 9. I have 9 groups of what? I'm adding it to these two. I have 9 groups of 1,000th. Okay? So 9 times 1,000th. or 9 times 1,000. Cool. Same thing here. But now I have some other numbers. I'm going to go. I have 5, 7, 2, 8, 1 with my decimal being right there. Starting on the left. Always start on the left with my biggest unit. What do I have here? I have 5 groups of 10, right? So I have 5 times 10. Go to my next number. I have 7 ones, right? Plus 7 ones. Plus I have 2. And this is where I'm going to split it off. I'm going to do fraction and decimal. I have 2 groups of tenths. 2 groups of tenths. I have 8 thousandths, 8 in my thousandths column. Did I say thousandths? I messed that up. I have 8 in my hundredths. Come on, it's getting late. It's the end of the day. I'm tired. 8 hundredths. And then I have something in the thousandths column. I do. It's a 1. So I have 1 group of 1,000. Okay. Okay, you're just taking them one at a time. You're just taking them one at a time, and you're busting it out, and you're saying, what exactly does this mean? And that's really the whole objective behind this, is for you just to understand the value of each one of these digits, of each one of these numerals expressed here in this. So what is this? What does it stand for? What does it mean? Why is it there? And then from here on out, then you can do division, and you can do multiplication, and you can do addition and subtraction a little bit easier because you understand the value of the digits that you're multiplying, adding, subtracting, or dividing. Down here, you're just doing this backwards, okay? So, I mean, use a place value chart to help you if necessary. So, I mean, we can do that. I have 2 groups of 1,000. So I'm going to put my 2 in my thousandth. I have 9 in my hundredth. I have 6 in my tenth. I have 4 groups of 1, 4. And I have 7 groups of 10. So that's my number. 74, 692. 74 and 692 thousandths. Same thing here. I have 9 in my thousandths. I have nothing in my hundredths, looks like, because I go from 8 to my tenths. So I have an 8 in my tenths. I can't just leave it blank. I got to put something there to hold that place. So I got to put a 0 in there. 3 groups of 10. And I have 5 hundredths. I don't have anything here. I got to put a 0. There's my number. 530 and 809 thousandths. That should be good. Hopefully this is helpful. Bring any questions that you have to class tomorrow, of course. You have to try and tackle these problems. These problems, sometimes it's not going to be easy. And what I see a lot of my students do in class is I see a lot of my students, when they see something that they can't do, they just automatically throw in the towel, rather than trying to problem solve it, rather than trying to figure it out. If you don't get it, that's okay. That's what teachers are here for. That's why we're here for. That's why those exit tickets go out, so that we can check it out and understand who knows it and who doesn't and who needs help. So don't be afraid to get a problem wrong. Don't be afraid to ask your teacher for help. Don't be afraid to try. And because a teacher I was talking to the other day said it really well. Maybe you don't get it, but you don't get it yet. You will. You will understand it if you work for it. Okay? See you later.